I wouldn't say you concentrate mainly on semi-driver.
Our trades require you to have
Compositional.
some of the five.
Unmuted.
What is the password?
It's, she wrote it up there. It's the phone number. Last word.
Oh, 9133.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't even know how to use these things.
we can start it.
You're asking the wrong guy.
IT security loves it right now.
Well, it's just for these, so unless somebody were to take it,
What'd you hit?
all that's in here is our agenda.
You guys might have the little
Mhm.
prop thing. I thought we ordered them like that.
No, we didn't, but we could. I
Mine.
mean, they can't be
We can get
expensive.
stands.
Yeah. That would be great.
Well.
Everybody thought, yeah, we're late, so.
She said we look up. Are you folks ready?
You're ready.
All right. Ready. Call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stop it. Something's falling apart.
All right, we're gonna get started with roll call. Mark? Here. Howard? Here. Mike? Here. Roberta?
Here.
Gwen?
Nothing.
Here.
You missed one.
Lydia? Not here. Dale? Here. Amber?
Here.
Robbie?
Here.
Eugene?
Here.
All right. All right, we're gonna start with the minutes. We have the July 9th Planning Commission minutes.
Those minutes have not been received yet, as we had some difficulties with YouTube stream. They didn't stream. They are on a recorder. is
Okay.
not coming through yet. Me and Gwen both looked over them, so.
Yeah.
We have to figure out which recording is on there.
Okay,
I will make a motion that we table the July 9th planning commission meeting minutes.
we have a motion. Do we have a second? I'll second. Okay, we have a motion, a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Approval of the August 13th Plan Commission minutes.
I will make a motion that we approve the August 13th meeting minutes.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? I'll second. All those in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Permits issued.
I can direct everyone up here,
Yeah.
lead for a minute, Mike, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
this is great. I love it. The public's gonna love this.
So, for July 2025 inspections completed, we had 62. August, we had completed inspections for 70 total. Permits issued in July, we had 80 permits that have been issued. For August, we are at 67 permits that were issued.
Can I pause you for a second?
Yes,
I'm just curious, and I'd like anybody else's thoughts. The contractor registrations, should those be under registrations and not permits? Because they're not really permits. Right? I mean, it just feels like it throws the numbers off. Anybody else?
yeah, we can, look at changing that and filtering those out. That's not an issue to do. Because we
Okay,
have
just
also
my thought.
renewals too, that it's a.
Yeah, I mean, you break
And
it
it's
down here,
renewed.
but it still feels like we should have, maybe we could have a separate slide with new contractor registrations and renewals.
That works.
Any discussion from the board?
I'd just like to start displaying the data so that we have it for the public and for the
Yes.
board.
Great job.
We also have got fees collected. This does have the total of even the contract registration fees in there. And then any of our new dwellings or any other permits issued. Fees collected for August, a total of 8,878. This is a permit summary by month for the year. We have up until August and here completed. So this is some of the information that comes out of our iWork software with everything we're doing with permits and keeping them electronically and filing all that stuff. We can run these reports very easily, generate them. So Roberta, we can custom make some reports too, if the board would like to see anything different.
I'm curious of something. Can somebody help me understand? So the permit fees that we receive, those go into the planning commission's general fund. And then at the end of the year, they get transferred to the county general? Does anybody know?
We're gonna have to go back and look, I
Okay.
imagine, to see where.
Because I feel like if it stayed with us, then we'd have more budget each year. So I'm just curious where that money ends up.
We'll pull the entire budget for 2024.
Okay.
And then you can go through it and see where everything went.
Thank you, Teresa.
Yeah, well,
Can you have that for us for the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
We've also started to do some of the code enforcement. There was some discrepancies on what things were being reported prior. Coming into September, any calls that come into the office are getting put into the system. Even if it's something that we don't deem as a violation, it's still noted on the system. That's what I have for some of this, just inspections for the month of July.
I don't think we haven't started tracking,
The fees for code violations.
I think they need
for
to.
lack of better terms, the violations pertaining to a permit, like
Yes.
for instance, not calling for additional inspections or disregarding steps in the construction process, which we've come across a couple of them in the month of
Yeah,
August
starting in
and
September.
And we're not tracking those and the fines that's been levied on those. One of them has been solved, the other one's pending,
Correct.
so, okay.
So we are.
But we
starting
will
to-
track those in the future.
Yeah, but there are fees, there was some fees up here, a couple pages of permit fees and fines. a lot of that stuff has not been tracked before. But there are certain steps and requirements when a failed inspection's done, or if someone puts up the completed of the house and they skipped calling in for their crawl space and drainage tile inspections. But those are significant fees that need to be applied and be corrected.
Yeah. I
We
think
can't
moving-
just say, don't do it next time, but it needs to be corrected. And Eugene's done a great job of making sure those individuals are correcting those findings.
Okay, and do we have, is that under the fees collected? What
It's
he's
starting
got?
in September, so I don't
Starting
have
in
that data in
September.
there yet.
Okay, so we just started that in September, but
Mhm.
we'll be able to start seeing that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to also know how many times, when I think about inspections, you go, if you have to go back multiple times,
Mhm.
are we tracking that somehow so that we know it's the same job that?
Yes,
that
and
ha-
iWorks, and maybe in next month, I can actually set iWorks up down here and just give a brief rundown of
Okay.
what the permit system is doing and tracking.
That would be great.
So that you can see things that are coming in on one parcel, how many inspections were called in,
Failed and all of that.
what notes are put in them.
Okay,
So they're attached to the parcels. We link them with the parcel ID number and the
Okay.
owners.
okay. I think I would like to see that. So if it's not, too terribly extra.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Well, I just want to bring up, Amber, this is phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Yeah, this is very well done.
Absolutely.
We are working on. We see a large number of, residents, contractors not calling for additional inspections, and I think that's just a lack of education. So what we're trying to do is focus on going out and educating people, and we don't really level fines unless they resist us.
Yeah,
So we're just, at this point, we're trying to educate people, you need to follow the procedures. We live in a world with rules, so we need to do this. If you choose not to do this, now there's additional levies and fines that we can impose. So that's what we're attempting to do at this point, so.
and in the original permit application, the individuals are asked, are they installing electric? Is there plumbing? Is there gas hookups? And we ask all those questions, so it's not additional permits and fees for those items
Right.
on a pole barn or a new dwelling.
Right.
But
It's
it's so
just,
those
you know how many
inspections get
inspections.
completed. And we don't find a failed inspection, well, the permit never had electric to it in the beginning. So we want to make sure that they do all the inspection for the final permit.
All right, before we move on to code enforcement, are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, Jean, you have any report you'd like to give us since we're on inspections? Anything that you've seen in the field the last couple of weeks that or concerns that you may have?
What I try to do in my travels is from inspection to inspection is I try to check on. Actually, I stop by places that didn't ask for an inspection, just to say hi to the contractor building it, how you doing, where you're at, and so forth. And so I'm trying to do that, and I'm also looking for the people that are non-compliant people. So if I see a structure in the process being built, I stop and see if they have a permit, and if they don't, then I get my famous red tag here. But I'm seeing it seems like monthly the people have become more compliant. I think neighbor tells neighbor. Because the guy at Bass Lake says, yeah, my neighbor told me you'd probably stop by. And then I was visiting with another contractor and he took a phone call and he says, that was my brother told me you just red tagged him up here on here. And so I think it's gonna take just a little while for the rumor mill to become reality. So that's what I'm seeing, but I am seeing a lot of, there's a lot of activity in this town. The lakes are real busy. I could spend a day a week at Bass Lake. Just checking on, jobs and, talking with people, make sure they understand the rules and resources available. So
So the relationship with the community is positive. as
It's
far as
very
you-
positive, very positive. We've only had two issues and one was resolved peacefully with a little extra fine involved, and I'm almost certain the next one will be resolved next week. Probably with additional fines, so, but I'm sure it's gonna be resolved because it's either gonna be resolved or gonna stop work, so.
Right.
I think he will comply. So otherwise, it's positive. What I'm finding is that this job allows me to. We have some good contractors in this county, a good number of them that you get to know, and you know, when you walk in, this building is constructed within codes. When you walk in, you see this, and so you get to know these people and relationships, so you know you can count on, they have integrity. And so it's uplifting to see all these jobs going on and that people are doing the right thing. And so we'll continue to educate and be an ideal county for people to look at. Say, how's Stark County doing this? So that's our hope anyway.
It's great. All right, moving on to code enforcement.
Okay, basically, I don't have a report for that because we were working together. Trying to figure out how we could submit it. And we came across quite a few cases that are not closed out yet, and it's with fines and stuff, and it's well over $10,000 worth of fines already. We just got to, since we have an attorney now, we got to go back and submit the fines.
There's a few that need some certified letters that were not mailed, and then there's some that's gonna take a little bit more working with the attorney to get the proper items out so that we protect the county and ourselves, but get these situations resolved.
So can I ask a question about code enforcement real quick? Because I don't know the answer. I did a little digging, and in Indiana, there's two different types of code enforcement. It depends on what we've adopted as a county. Some counties, the only way code enforcement is managed is if a complaint is actually made. In other counties, code enforcement is out. And, you know, if they see an unsafe building, if they see issues, they can actually put in, you know, it's not a fine right away, but whatever you call it, Robbie, help me with that. You know, if you find that there is a code violation,
An infraction.
an infraction, do we know which of those we've adopted as a county?
We have to receive a complaint.
We're receiving the complaints.
Okay.
And they're coming in from all over, even
Okay,
other
so we
individuals.
so we don't go out.
No, and then as far as when she's talking about the fees, I mean, there's definitely this is a notice first before any fees applied. The one she's talking about that it went excessively are some of the abandoned buildings. It's been 4 years, nothing's been done with it. It didn't get further of going to get it through certified through court and getting handled that way to either put a lien on the property or have it fixed with the fees. So that stuff we have to work with, a couple of them and work with our attorney on to make sure we get them resolved. We'll go in a slide here in a minute. We have a couple properties that have become a problem that have more than one call on.
Okay.
And then a couple other ones that we've had complaints on and that we found some information out from the attorney on how to handle that one.
Okay. All right. I was just curious which method we did, so thank you.
It sounds like this is a little bit of a work in progress.
Yes, it is, which brings us to, I think we got permit fees and things coming up next.
With-
There is a copy for individuals who would like to see, but I believe this is something we need to go through a tech review on the board. Or at least planning commission board and review these fees. These have not been updated since 2016. This is not to just collect a bunch of money, but cost of everything, raises, certified letters. I think a letter today was over $11 to mail a certified letter, so. Some of these fees need to increase to support those costs. I did take a quick brief look, just Marshall County, Pulaski County and LaPorte County. We're in line with Pulaski for the most part. Marshall County kind of has set permit fees based on square footage, and this is just new dwellings. I didn't dig into all permit fees, I just did a quick recap. And then LaPorte County, they're anywhere from 43 cents to 50 cents a square foot, whereas we're at 20 cents. So some of these items I think we should come up some on. So I think it needs a review from the board for those fees.
But before we review those, I'd like, if we can, not a hurry, because I think we probably have time to do this. I'd like to have a better understanding of what our average square foot is for new dwelling.
And I can get that.
Because that'll
report.
help us gauge a little bit from a financial rate. We don't want to put strain on.
No.
We want people to be able to build in the county.
Mhm.
But if what we're seeing more often is 2,000 to 3,000 square foot, okay, well, maybe we do need to raise we can raise that, maybe we look at, smaller square footage as a lower. So
Mhm.
just, I'd be curious about that.
Yeah, I don't wanna, I think it all needs reviewed
Yes, I
and
agree.
compared with other local counties, not
Yeah.
just jump and add a
Right.
percentage increase at a.
Yeah, like I do like how much, I like where Pulaski County has the max.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking is, up to a certain square footage, let's put a max that's reasonable. So.
All right, thoughts from the board? Mark?
We'll see what you come up with. I don't really see a lot of increases needed, really.
Okay,
Maybe
so
minimum.
would the board like this to go to tech review, or would we like to review it at the next meeting as the plan commission?
I'm fine with reviewing it at the next meeting.
Yeah, I
As
think
a-
this board can
this
do
I
it.
think this board should do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this is
Yeah,
a tech
I think the
review.
tech needs to
That's
be.
fine, it's good.
Other items.
Ordinances,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you want to put it on the agenda for
Mhm.
review at the next meeting?
I think we should.
Okay, we kind of jumped ahead there just a little bit. We were at code enforcement. Do you think that by the next meeting, you folks can have a little bit more detailed report? I know you were working on it now.
Yeah, there's a slide up here and it's gonna be a little bit detailed, at least our three current problem, multiple complaints coming in.
Okay,
So I got a slide on that here, in just a second.
okay, perfect. Jumping ahead, so the permit fees here, that's gonna be at the next meeting.
Mhm.
We should probably plan for at least 20 minutes on that, just for the board's record. All right. Moving on to number 7, certified letter of violations for short-term rental property.
So we've got a short-term rental property. We have reached out to our lawyer. We have drafted the letter. Did have a member of the board that we are holding off on sending the letter until we get approval from the board to send it. This would be the property out on the rental, I think it's Copper Top Rentals,
For top runner.
and it is a rental property on the back of the property that it has no permits for it. It was denied during like a hearing. They weren't gonna be renting it. They were notified a few years ago about this. So we did draft that letter. We would like to get it sent out. In that letter, it's gonna allow us to inspect it, make sure that the septic well and everything are conforming. And then where to move from there on having it permitted as a business out there. Or to
Did the
go through
attorney
the
draft
BBA.
this letter?
Hmm?
Did the attorney draft this
He
letter?
Yeah,
assisted.
he assisted in drafting the letter. He has already reviewed the letter.
Is there anybody in the audience today from Copper Top Rentals? Anybody?
It is Copper Top Rentals. But Jeremiah's? No. Yeah, that we turned down.
Yes,
Okay.
All right, so do we need a motion to move forward with that letter?
I will make a motion that we send the certified letter to Copper Top Rentals as it was drafted by Amber with the assistance of the attorney.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
The next, we do have unsafe structure. It was a burned residential dwelling on 300 East. There was a written notice that was sent with just a notice that this needs cleaned up. One was sent in May. We did send another one in August. Today, a certified letter went out with the fees attached to it. So we'll see where that one comes after this, but that is the one, it needs to be. It's gonna create a safety hazard, unsafe structure.
Okay.
Um,
And that notice went out today.
yes, that did go out today, certified mail. And then the last one that we have, it's been a problematic. But it is in White Pines Meadow. It's a subdivision with covenants. We did have to reach out with the lawyer on this one. Mike, you did read some of that, but this is a note to those homeowners in that neighborhood. That this is something that they have to work out amongst themselves. Being because of that covenant in that plot on those parcels. There is a note that says the property shall not be used for any commercial enterprise and or no offensive trade or activity shall be allowed on the premises. But this is something that needs to be handled from the neighborhood. The county is not responsible for handling that with that.
And I think we had concerns from a neighbor
Yes.
that has recently emailed.
Mhm.
I guess would it be all right with the board if I email her back this information in case she's not watching this meeting?
I have no concerns with that.
Yeah,
Any
I'm good with
concerns?
that, Mike.
Should we make a motion, you suppose, just for the record? So I'm requesting a motion to email this lady back and let her know that this will be up to the homeownership of the area.
Are you making the motion?
I'll make the motion.
I will second that motion.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Is that all of the certified letters that you have?
Yes, coming from some of those complaints, and we do have a little bit more on a complaint side, but it's more of a new business coming in, so I'll wait on that one.
Okay.
For our business now, we do have our solar ordinance discussion.
Before we get to that, I have a question. So, Howard, we worked on that horse ranch for I don't know how long, and where is the status on that?
I don't know, they were talking about the old, some of us old timers, the
Lightning
county, the Lightning Dude Ranch, it's not that anymore, it hasn't been that family for years, but that property. We've been, I know that's been going on for 6 years.
Is it an unsafe
Yeah,
property situation?
Yeah, and we sent them letters.
It's just,
they said fine. I just.
on the east side of the lake.
Cause I don't
Maybe
think,
get the info to Amber so she knows.
yeah,
Can you get me?
I think Robbie has it.
Yeah, at one time they were assessed a fine and paid it. I think their mortgage company paid it.
I mean, we need
But
to
I don't think
continue to
they've done
be
it.
pressing on them because they have
I agree.
done what they needed to.
No.
So, I guess that's why I brought it up, because we were still discussing the.
No, that's fine. And, again, as we're going through this system and with the changes that have happened in the office, we are finding some things that
I
were
know,
closed because they paid a fine once, but the problem is still there. So another case wasn't open, so we're trying to correct those. So as the complaints or the calls come in, either reopening them and
Well-
addressing it.
I think the last
it's
I
been
heard
while.
on a meeting was they had purchased one of these pre-built building structures.
And we're living in that.
I don't know if they were living in it, but they had
Put it
put on the property without any permits or
Yeah.
anything.
I just remember all the trying to get that cleaned up for, I don't know, quite a while.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
was
there's some other
wondering-
ones I'm curious too, so
That one is definitely a hot item that we've tried.
I don't know where we landed.
Probably
with-
should have a lot of that
I
up
have
there.
current pictures of it, but I have no activity in the file because of how.
Got and
It was presented.
I think that was.
Yeah, that
supposed
was
to
a
be
mess
court.
too. Yeah, that's gotta be looked at. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll let you carry on. I just wanted to know the status.
No, I mean, and feel free, even the public, if you have any concerns or things that are not getting addressed, to email the planning commission or call the office and we can open up those cases or review them and make sure they're
Yeah,
resolved.
It's just been an ongoing old case that we're trying to clean up.
We went over this letter, for the Starke County Youth Group.
We brought it up in the small meeting, but I did have a copy if anybody would like to.
Okay.
A copy of the letter, I do have it here, and then we did have another letter that had came in from John Wickman. If you'd like me to read it, I can out loud, or
Is this
pass
for
them out.
solar? Okay, yeah, I think we should read it on the record.
No.
So usually Mike would read it, but I'm just going based on
No, I
what
can
Nate
read
told
all
us.
that.
Yeah, so.
Is that okay with the board?
Already read it, so yes,
Okay.
now to talk to him also.
Go ahead. Edward.
Oh, all right. So Stark County Commissioners and other associated officials. My name is John Woodman. My family has farmed 440 acres in Stark County for nearly 100 years, and I hope to see it continue for another 100. I've spoken before the commissioners in the past, and I appreciate the time and work you put into serving our community. I am writing today to share my support for Doral and Mammoth Solar projects. I hope and pray the commissioners will continue working with Doral to build an ordinance that allows this project to move forward in the year ahead. For me, this project is about giving the land a chance to heal after a century of hard use. My father cared deeply about conservation, and I'm not gonna be able to say that word.
Agrivoltaics.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that, as a continuation of that effort, it allows the soil to rest and recover while still contributing to farm families and the wider community in neighboring counties. Doral's projects have already proven safe, reliable, and sustainable. They provide steady income, bring in tax dollars, and ensure the land is cared for appropriately. Just as importantly, Doral has shown itself to be a good neighbor in the community. I know ordinances are necessary, but I urge you shape them around the values that matter most here, the rights of landowners, care for the land itself, and a future our kids and grandkids can count on. The project I'm part of with Doral meets all three. I'm always glad to answer questions, share my perspective, or sit down and talk through concerns. My contact information is below, and I welcome the conversation anytime. Thank you for your service and for your consideration. Please feel free to circulate this to other commissioner members and officials who I didn't have contact info for.
Thank you.
All right, as discussed in the last meeting, we were looking for bullet points or letters from the board to send to our attorney as he may possibly draft a starting point for the new ordinance. Amber, I understand you've gotten a little bit of information from folks. I guess I'd kind of like to set a deadline of maybe this Friday from the board, if anybody has anything else they want to add. And then I guess I'm looking for permission from the board to go ahead and send that to Nathan. Again, this is just putting together something for us to start with. So any feedback from the board here?
Can you maybe back up just a little bit, because this all happened at the tech review meeting? So the planning commission wasn't necessarily looped in that we were working with, that we were looking at.
We did go
having-
through this. At one point.
It was at the planning commission, we voted on the drafting of the ordinance.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I forgot we had another meeting.
Yeah,
after
we've had a few.
meetings. Never mind, we're good. We're good. So, well, I love the idea. I will just say I like the idea of having Nathan get us started. It's
Yeah.
unbiased. We can get his thoughts. I think that if everybody can send in their information, so I will make a motion that
This Friday at noon.
this Friday at noon is the deadline for board members to send their information over to Amber. So that Nathan can start looking at including some of that in the base ordinance for us to review.
Yep, so we have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Continuation of carbon capture. We've talked about this briefly. We've had a lot of other things to work on. Is this something we want to dive into, or is this something we want to table till next year? Thoughts from the board?
So I will say that I do think we need to dive into it. I think we need to add another layer with data centers, because we don't have an ordinance for that. I think we have a lot on our plates, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm gonna look at Amber. I don't believe we have anybody looking yet in Stark County, but I do think for carbon capture permitting or data center permits.
Data center, we did have an individual come to the planning commission this week, and they were looking to seek some information from economic development. I didn't get any further details on it, but it was brought in this
We
week.
don't have an ordinance now, so I think that if we have people starting to look, I don't want us to be chasing that. So I think that we do need to try to start looking into both carbon capture and data centers this year. I think
Okay.
waiting till like next year might be getting we might end up behind the 8 ball.
Is this something that the board would have an interest in making a recommendation to the commissioners?
Maybe we could look at other counties that do
I
have
agree.
carbon capture in place right now, and take a look at theirs.
Do we want to consider a moratorium on this?
I would say yes, so that we're not, again, behind the eight ball. I'm not saying it needs to be long. I think we need to, in any moratorium, my understanding, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, if we put in a moratorium, but we can lift it at any time. So once we have the ordinances created, the commissioners could vote to lift those moratoriums once they're created.
I think it's, be in our best interest to do moratorium before the fact, not after the fact. So we can, do some research.
Well, and this is actually a little bit of a process to get a moratorium in place, but we could probably start with a motion. Tonight and then consult with our attorney tomorrow. So we could potentially have a motion that just gets the ball rolling. But that's up to the board.
And we're just talking carbon capture, correct?
And data centers.
I don't know about the data center.
Don't know
We could-
about
we could-
moratorium or. I have concerns with the data centers because the amount of water that I understand that they use for the cooling, so I just think the county needs to have a plan in place ahead of time on that, but I have not done a lot of digging on.
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Sure.
I would like to make a motion that we propose a moratorium on continuation of carbon capture and data centers until research has been done and proper ordinances have been written and adopted by Starke County Planning Commission.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Nay.
I
All right, we have 4 yeas, 1 nay. And I do think we should consult with our attorney first thing in the morning to make sure we're going in the proper direction here. All right, any new business to the board this evening?
So I have one quick thing and then I might have something else. So in an attempt to try to help Amber a little bit, her and I spoke, and doing meeting minutes is time consuming if there's ways to make it a little quicker. One way that we can do that, so I'm looking at Mike, is when a motion is made, so she can use the recording and then it will capture the transcript for the meetings. The problem is she has to go back and listen to hear who made the motions and who seconded.
Mhm.
So if you would be okay with it, every time somebody makes a motion, if you can repeat the motion and who made it, and then whoever seconds it, if you can say their name. So like in that case, you would have said Howard made a motion to put in a moratorium. And then whoever seconded it, you could say Roberta seconded the motion. It makes it, Amber,
It picks it up very well, but I mean, it does help if we can just use names, or at least Howard, if you're stating it, just Howard, make the motion.
we could do that
Just
too.
do that,
Just
just
take
say
a
your
name
name.
to be picked up.
A name to be picked up, yeah,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if a member forgets, I'll just mention it.
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I know this is water under the bridge for a minute. I made the motion was seconded and accepted. I'd like to, everybody sitting out there I'd like to explain why I made the motion. It's all new to us, the carbon capture and the data centers. And I just think we ought to be prepared as a board and as a county to look at the dangers and the positive parts of it, to review all of it before we are really forced and pushed into rushing into something that right now, I don't know anything about, much about. That way we can look at what are the pros, what are the cons, and get the general feel of the community of how they feel about it. I just wanted to, that's why I made the motion.
Right? We had one more thing for new business.
Yeah, so I would like to move that we set aside and rescind the motion that we made under IC code 36-1 at our last meeting that was held on September 3rd.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
We have a motion from Roberta. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Dale. We have a motion and a second from Dale. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And I have one more, sorry. I would also like to make a motion, Roberta, would like to make a motion to reopen the evaluation of candidates for our building commissioner opening.
We have a motion from Roberta. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's all I have.
Anything else for new business?
I do have something for the public that's came in, not official type complaints, but we do have some concerns with. Some contractors are not being registered, and I gotta read a little bit more into it, but some of the utilities such as the fiber optics, the bright speed, the telephone lines. We're having quite a few complaints come in, multiple areas, but they're just leaving these phone lines and cables all over yards. Which I think the intentions of they're getting buried within a few days or a week later. But if you look at some of these pictures, I mean, this gentleman was gonna mow over this and tear it all out. But it's getting, I mean, kind of ridiculous. A lot of these are, I think, a third-party contractor doing the work for these companies. But we don't have them registered through the county. I don't know if they're required to be registered. But they don't clean up a lot of the stuff, or they're leaving it like this. They're not putting a flag out so that the gentleman isn't gonna mow over it, to making it aware that it's not been buried yet.
So my assumption would be that I'll just use, if that whoever the carrier is probably pulling their subcontractors underneath them. So they probably have their
Right.
permitting, their registration. So what we need to know is who is the carrier? And then we've got to go to the carrier about this complaint. That would be my guess.
I agree,
So
100%.
I do believe that the public, I mean, if this is happening, it,
Yeah, it's quite frequent. We're getting calls with,
are these?
they're leaving lines and they're stretching the line from this neighbor's house across 3 yards to another one to
Oh,
provide service.
hmm.
It looks like the second picture is broken. Did somebody break the
I-
line?
It's just like part
No,
there and wires
That's
coming out of it.
that's not a wire, that's pulling thread or pulling one, pulling twine.
Yeah, there's
Um,
a wire.
What they usually do, at least
Right.
they're going in and they're direct boring it eventually. But they
Yeah.
come out, get people hooked up, come back, do the direct bore,
Mhm.
so that people don't have
Yeah,
to wait.
But they're
Going
leaving all
across
these
other
unlocked.
yards.
I think they're getting mowed over, tangled up, causing tripping hazards in
Yeah.
people's
I
yards,
agree
which
more.
is a problem to the public.
Is there any way the office with Jean and yourself could propose some ideas on how we could move forward with this for the next meeting?
I was gonna try to see if other counties, if they require anything when they're doing any type of utility works, to mark where they're working. I mean, even if they would have put flags out where these are going or gonna be bored, it would help the individuals not mow them over, trip over and know that there's something there.
Well, I'd like to make a comment. I did stop at one of those crews. On 200 North, I believe they were staging many spools there and wire on the road, and they were staging them. Some of them were right on the edge of the pavement, so I stopped, talked to them about moving those off. There was 5 people there. None of them spoke English.
And I think that's where we've got to.
So I
go
just
directly
finally
to the-
said, I'm sure the foreman does. They always had one foreman, but he was not there, so so that's, I mean, that's an issue when you're trying to resolve this type of thing, so.
And I think that's also why we've got to go to the original contractor.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw Surf out there just because that's who I got. So, I think I think maybe we could send some letters to the companies
Mhm.
with our concerns. And, they may come back with, hey, yeah, not a problem. We'll make sure.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
can draft some,
Yeah, just a basic,
and for, I mean, most, to like cover all utility
Yes.
companies on something that would be a
Yeah.
concern, especially staying at least how far setbacks on the road, so that we're not interfering with anything coming through.
Okay, so is there any issue from the board with the office working on this?
no concerns.
So
You need a motion?
we probably better.
Okay, I'll make a motion that our board, actually, our office works on this particular item, which is the situation that we're looking at right now, which is the wires dangling all over the place, but with a third party group working on it, so.
Okay.
Make the motion.
Mark has made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Howard.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
And then another concern, just myself and Jean, but we have a lot of improvements going on with yards such as landscaping. We don't require permits to be pulled for landscaping, but we have had a couple calls where they are tearing up the roads in the process, or they're running landscaping all the way out to the roadside or up to the road, creating almost like a barrier. I know for the county, we don't allow any solid fences taller than 4 foot high or within that setback. I don't know if we need to consider that for boulders
Yeah.
being placed down the road, that they need to be in that same setback from the road as what we need to fence.
So when I
The
was
center line,
when I was digging into the ordinances for one of the BZA cases that we had, the boulders are definitely a problem. The highway department, they can't be there because they'll hit them with their plows and things like that. So there is a setback. We just need to find it. I don't remember what it was. It's whatever our setback is. They can't
It's
put
on-
things like
It's
that.
on the list on the planning commission.
Yeah, it's on the
Should have
planning
it off that
commission.
list.
So
Tells you how far the.
how far,
setbacks
but
are.
they can't put boulders that close to the road.
that was our impression, but we want to
Yeah.
make sure, but we also, we don't require, I mean, landscape companies are required to get a contract registration, but we don't require them to pull permits, and I'm wondering if they would at least be required to pull a permit, their understanding of the setbacks from the roads and given that information. Up front.
Possibly. Yeah. The only other thing that I want to add is that you mentioned the damage to the roads, and I know there was a council meeting. Howard, refresh my memory, but there was a council meeting not too long ago, and I believe it was Bruce that might have brought up the heavy equipment on the roads and what they're allowed to have on the roads. They have to be rubber track. I'm looking at you guys because I know nothing about this, but as a farmer, you might. We do have regulations of what type of equipment can be on our paved roads. So if they don't have the correct rubber tracking and things like that, they cannot use the roads. So again, I think even small excavating equipment still has to meet that guideline. So I would recommend that you guys try to look for that. It's somewhere in our ordinances. I know that. But Bruce might.
I do know that the highway department and I have been working on some cases throughout the county where there are rocks from very nicely done landscaping, but it's out in the roadway more or less. And they're working with the attorney. We've drafted letters, we've sent letters to homeowners. We're not looking to cause trouble, but we can't have people's landscaping out in the roadway. It's just a hazard for everybody. It's a hazard for motorists, it's a hazard for the plows, and it could be hazardous for the homeowners themselves if the plow catches a rock and throws it into their house. That's not going to be good for anybody. So that is something that the highway department also works on, is keeping that kind of stuff off the roadways.
Maybe partner with Rachel.
That's, I mean, we would open the cases for
Yeah.
these being within the setback and then send out the letters to them, at least notices.
Yeah.
And then if they're not removed or corrected,
And what we could create as a practice is if you do have a situation brought to your attention, would be first to go to the highway department and have Rachel go out and inspect. To make sure that she thinks one way or the other if it's in the highway or not. And then move forward with contacting the homeowner. But then at least we have a paper trail that somebody went and inspected the road. Okay, so, I don't know that we.
I don't think we need a motion on that.
No. I think
So
we're
if,
good.
if there's an excavator damaging the county roadway, couldn't the sheriff's department go out and investigate and damage to?
Actually,
county
usually
property?
it's the highway
Highway.
superintendent goes out and investigates to see if there was damage done, and if there is, they try to estimate how much cost is valued at. In an excavator case.
Right.
All right, any other?
That was all I had from public things
Okay,
brought to
perfect.
the office.
Anything else from the board? All right,
I just want to thank you, Amber, because again, I think this is fantastic. I think the public probably appreciates being able to see this instead of just us looking at something and you guys not being able to understand what it is we're looking at. So, thank you.
all right, anything from the public today? Okay.
Real quick, so just to understand the process on the solar is you all get your comments and then get to the attorney. So do you think, will there be a tech review meeting before your next?
Well, technically, we don't have the approval yet to hire the attorney to do it. So we have to get approval for the money to do it, but we're just kind of working to get our end of it in motion, so we're not stalled. So just to keep things moving, but there will be multiple meetings bringing this to the public.
I just had a chance to look at that.
We're just trying to get something to start with to show the public and then get input and keep building from there.
But you still need the council to say here's.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else from the public?
I'd like to say something. I'm a neighbor of John Whitman,
Mhm.
and my husband's family has been here over 100 years. And I agree with him completely on what he's wrote to you, and that people owning property should have the right to have a say of what's on the property. And that's all I have to say.
Great.
Ma'am, can you just state your name for the,
Helen Seller,
And location.
in location?
700 South Monterey.
All right, anything else from the crowd? All right, thank you all for being here this evening. The time and date of the next meeting, for our next regular scheduled meeting will be October 8th at 5:30 p.m. Do watch the calendar because we have had a habit recently of creating extra meetings. So
Just a few.
there could be additional meetings. Anything else from the board?
I will make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, we have a motion from Roberta, a second.
I'll second.
Okay, a second from Mark. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Fabulous job. I'm very proud of you.
Now we expect.
All right, what do we need to have at the BCA?
See you, Jeannie.
You know, what's it?
Yeah.
Yeah.